All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the Brantford Accessibility Committee meeting for January 16th, 2025. We will begin today's meeting with the election of chair and vice chair. For that, I'm going to call any nominations for chair at this time. If anybody wants to nominate a member or nominate themselves for the position of chair for the year of 2025.
Sure.
Colleen?
Sure, yes.
You will
If no
nominate?
one else wants it, I'll take it again, yes.
Okay, so you're going to nominate yourself. Any other nominations? Okay. Hearing none, Colleen has been acclaimed as chair. And for the position of vice chair, if anybody can nominate somebody else or nominate themselves.
I nominate myself.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, thank you. So
do we alternate with it?
it's up to you. If there's any other nomination, what we would proceed to do is take a vote. Otherwise, there will be another nomination here. Yeah, all right. So seeing no other nominations and no objections there, Marka will be the vice chair for the year 2025. And I'm going to pass on the meeting on to Colleen to proceed with the items on the agenda today.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Brantford Accessibility Committee meeting for January 16, 2025. We have had the election. Now we will commence with the meeting. Has the roll been taken?
The roll has been taken.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest or any of the items listed on the agenda? Seeing none. And we have no presentations or delegations today. There are 4 items for consideration and 1 consent item on today's agenda. The first item is 4.1, 2025 Accessibility Education Campaign. Financial impact is $10,000 and it's number 2025-53. I will ask staff to please come forward and provide an overview of this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Heather Carvello, and I'm the Manager of Communications and Community Engagement for the City of Brantford. I am very pleased to be here today to share our recommendations for the 2025 Accessibility Education Campaign. So for a bit of background, last year, the campaign saw the relaunch of the Brantford Accessibility Improvement Awards, which celebrates and honors individuals, groups, and organizations that have made a significant contribution to accessibility in our community. The campaign was also supported by a new video called A Day in the Life, Understanding Accessibility in Our City. And it debuted at a city-hosted event called the Accessibility Expo. It also ran on our social media platforms and featured city officials experiencing various situations through the perspective of persons with disabilities, fostering empathy and commitment to removing barriers in both customer service and city infrastructure. So building on the success of the 2024 campaign, staff continue to feel strongly that the Accessibility Awards program is one of the most effective methods to promote accessibility, both to the private sector as well as to members of the community at large. To build on the education campaign, staff also recommend that the education video be updated to include additional situations showcasing the city's efforts to make outdoor infrastructure more accessible. So starting with the Accessibility Awards, to ensure that the recipients can be selected in time to award them during National Accessibility Week, which runs this year from May 25th to 31st, recommended recipients will be presented to this committee at the next meeting on March 20th. There is an established criteria for award recipients, and organizations can nominate themselves, or anyone can nominate an individual or organization for this award. Staff then reviews the nominations and brings them forward for recommendations to this committee. And we propose that the call for nominations opens on January 22nd, runs until February 28th, and award winners would be announced at the May City Council meeting on May 27th and promoted during National Accessibility Week. This communications campaign would launch the day of the nominations opening, and it would be supported with a dedicated web page on the city's website, a media release, as well as a print and social media campaign. We also recommend making updates to the A Day in the Life video that was produced in 2024 so that we can capture some additional footage demonstrating the city's efforts to make outdoor infrastructure more accessible, including accessible pedestrian signals installed at city crosswalks. It is recommended that the video would launch on May 25th, and that would coincide with the first day of National Accessibility Awareness Week. And then we would also air the evening of that the award recipients are recognized at council. And of course, we are very open to suggestions and ideas from this committee to help us ensure that the video is well received. So in summary, the 2025 accessibility education campaign would build on the success, as mentioned, of the 2024 initiatives and, publicly reaffirm the City of Brantford's commitment to fostering an inclusive and accessible community. And I am very happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Heather. Could I have a mover and a seconder to place the motion on the floor before we have any further discussion, please? Moved by Mark, seconded by Madison. Thank you. Questions, please, for Heather?
This is,
Yes, Mark.
yeah, sorry. This is absolutely fantastic. What a great way to continue making the community great, accessible. But is there a place specifically put forth where people can put suggestions of like businesses where that deserve these awards, or is it just upon our observation, or how does that work?
No, so there'll be like an open call for nominations starting on January 22nd. And we advertise this community-wide. So, as long as the organization you're nominating meets the criteria that's established in the nomination form, they would be considered.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark. Any further questions?
Yes, can I ask, so from the time of January 22nd to February 28th, is there like a little checklist that someone could print off and go take to where they want to recommend and make sure that they're recommending the right business that they want for these awards?
Right. So there's a dedicated web page that outlines all the criteria that's in the report already. And yeah, so I think if I'm understanding your question correctly, you're asking if someone could take that information and go ask a business, do you meet all of these criteria, and then I can nominate you?
Yeah, like say I love this coffee shop, but I just want to nominate them. I need to make sure I'm nominating the right place.
That's a good point. Yeah, we could come up with maybe like a small checklist that's easier to kind of, just say, do you meet these criteria? I'm considering nominating you. We could do something like that.
Okay. Thank you, Madison. So, sorry, just following up on Madison's question, would that checklist be available on the website?
It already is, yes.
Oh, it is. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Any further questions? Seeing none. I will now call the vote. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? And that's carried. Our next item is 4.2, which is 2025-2029 Brantford Accessibility Plan. Financial impact is none. Sorry, is this just following on with what we've heard, or is this a new item?
I believe that, through the chair, I believe that this is a new item.
Oh, thank you, Wanda. Okay, then I will ask staff to come forward and provide an overview on this item, please.
The accessibility plan is mine. It's Jenny Sawicki speaking. That is where we are, correct, Juan? I am having a little bit of trouble hearing you.
Yes, through the chair, we are on item 4.2, the 2025-2029 Brantford Accessibility Plan.
Okay, so through the chair, I have drafted the 2025-2029 accessibility plan in conjunction with all departmental staff. We had consultations with every staff department. And in this plan, we will see it is broken into two compartments or two components, sorry. One is corporate-wide action goals and the other is department goals. And it is how we have been complying with the AODA till now, as well as our plans for the next 5 years and what that looks like and what some of the outline goals for each department is. Sorry, I just realized my camera is not on. So it's quite a lengthy document. So it outlines everything from operational, day-to-day services to facilities, and what those plans look like upcoming. And although things are outlined in this plan, it does not necessarily mean these are all initiatives for the next 5 years, because of course things change. So if any of you have had the chance to review, I am open to conversation and recommendations for amendments, things like that. There was one small change as of this morning in the capital forecast that said we added on hold to the transit terminal upgrade for the audiovisual screen, just because there's a current study going on. So the words on hold have been added.
Thank you for that, Jenny. Could I have a mover and a seconder to place the motion on the floor for discussion, please? Yes, is it Doug? Yes, thank you, Doug. And second, Madison. Discussions or questions for Jenny, please? Yes, Mark.
Hey, thank you. Jenny, when the AODA was drafted, did it not have a clause in there that if businesses didn't comply with AODA standards, that as of 2025 there would be fines handed out or something like that? That businesses can get a fine now, and before they would just get a warning. I'm not sure when to ask it, if that pertains to this or not, but you're the guru of AODA. It seems like you have it memorized a lot better than I do.
So in the AODA, it did speak for the opportunity of enforcement. And we are at that 2025 deadline as you outlined. However, that seems to be a component within the legislation that has not yet been activated. But there is definitely the potential of that if people are not in compliance. This plan that was drafted is part of that compliance. We are legislatively required to write a plan that is updated at least every 5 years. And related to that, we have annual updates on said plans. So
would that be a municipal thing or definitely federal?
It is a provincial oversight of the AODA. So any
yeah, right.
fines would come from the province.
Okay. So the laws are different in other provinces.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jenny, it's the chair. I'm just wondering, sorry, have we done anything with the grant opportunities through the federal government for the AODA?
We have accessed a couple of the grant opportunities, the enabling accessibility fund in particular. We have the business sustainability department looks after applying for most of the grants. I will forward that information on to them if I do not hear anything from them beforehand. But there have been a number of projects, and that was outlined in the plan under that department. Also on the website, if you go back to the status update for 2023, there are a number of projects listed a handful of projects that were listed that funding was applied for.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Further questions for Jenny? Comments? Anyone? Seeing none, I will now call for the vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, and that is carried. Yes, Juan.
Sorry, through the chair, can I confirm, Mark, were you voting in the?
Oh, I was
affirmative?
voting for.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very
Sorry.
much. No, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, our next item, 4.3, Southwest Community Park Development Update. Financial impact is none, and it's number 2025-60. I will ask staff to come forward and provide an overview on this item, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through the chair to the committee. Good afternoon, and thank you all for having me here today. My name is Trevor Whitehead, and I am the coordinator of Parks Design and Development, and will be presenting the Southwest Community Park and Arrowdale Park projects on behalf of the Engineering Department today. Beginning with the Southwest Community Park, Ward 1 park that will bring much needed recreation space to West Brantford. This park is 36 acres in size with frontage along Shellard Lane and Strickland Avenue. The park also shares an internal property lines with the currently under construction joint build project, Grand Erie District School Board and City of Brantford initiative that will construct a school, library, and community center. Access to this site is provided along both Shellard Lane and Strickland Ave. City staff proceeded with the direction from the Southwest Community Task Force before it was dissolved, with input from relevant city staff throughout the design process. Construction began in September 2024 with earth-moving activities and below-ground infrastructure construction. It is anticipated that the above-ground park works will be commencing in spring 2025. Among the exciting amenities that are being built within the park are competitive level facilities for soccer and cricket. The artificial turf soccer field will be fully lit and makes use of an accessible bleacher system that provides elevated seating for all. The natural turf cricket pitch will be the first for Brantford and includes barrier-free seating and batting cages and official shelters that are also barrier-free. A multi-use court that converts to a refrigerated ice skating surface in the winter is designed with flush curbs surrounding it, and a neighboring pickleball court, totaling 5 courts in total, include 2 courts that were designed to meet accessible play design requirements by providing expanded spacing between courts as well as spectator seating opportunities. The largest splash pad and playground in the city of Brantford will be located within this park and include accessible play features at different levels, ramping circuits, and rubberized safety surfacing for the playground. Nearby will be shade shelters and accessible picnic tables that provide benefits for all residents. A trail system, which is internal to the park, provides smooth asphalt surfacing with rest stops dotted along the pathway, providing benches and adjacent space for mobility devices. There is also an elevated boardwalk which connects to trails, or these multi-use trails, and provides connection to the McGuinness neighborhood subdivision. Over 240 parking spaces are provided within the park site, and additional parking is also available within the joint build site as well. There are 11 total accessible parking spaces comprised of 5 Type B and 6 Type A parking spaces. These are all located near building entrances to provide easy access. There are 3 separate buildings proposed on site, including a maintenance building and 2 field houses. All buildings provide barrier-free entrances, along with interior turning radius adhering to FADS and AOTA requirements. The maintenance building provides space for Parks Department to have staff on site as required, as well as bulk material storage, equipment wash bays, and staff lunch and meeting space. There is 1 washroom facility located in this building, and it is a universal washroom. There is also a cricket pitch field house, which is intended to be used by teams and groups using the cricket pitch, providing change room space and separate washroom, toilets, and shower facilities too. Within this building, there are also 4 universal washrooms that provide use for the general park visitors, regardless of use of the cricket pitch. And finally, there's a similar activity hub field house, which provides change room space for users of the soccer field, as well as toilets and showers for those users. There is also separate male and female washrooms provided in this building, as well as 1 universal washroom. Also included is a concession stand and storage and maintenance space for equipment relating to winter ice skating, and relating to storage for the winter ice skating surface. Thank you. I will take any questions that the committee may have at this time.
Thank you, Trevor. Could I have a mover and a seconder to place the motion on the floor for discussion, please? Yes, Doug, and I'm sorry, I can't read. Is that Kelly? Yes, thank you, Kelly. Questions for Trevor, please? Yes, Mark.
Thank you. I'm not too clear on where this park would be. I know where Shellard's Lane is, Lions Park.
So just to geographically orient, it is West Brantford, and correct, extending along Scheller Lane as development continues into stretching westward. It is after Assumption School at Conklin. You're traveling west from there further, extending beyond McGinnis, and then there is, I believe, Anderson Road and Strickland Road is the next intersection after McGinnis, and that is the intersection where the joint build and the park site will be located.
Okay, and when is all this beautiful park set to start?
Anticipated completion of construction is July 2026, in line with the timeline for opening the school as well.
Wow. That's exciting. And how many garbages have you got in the park?
I don't have a tally on top of my head right now, but I think we're looking at significant locations at all at most stops along the pathways, as well as all amenities would include garbage facilities as well.
And at the entrance to the park, I gather they're going to be paved. You said paved pathways. Is there going to be that tactile marking to mark where the paths start and everything like that off the
Absolutely
sidewalk?
correct. Yes, all hardscape entrances from the parking lot and park entrances will have tactile walking surface indicators.
Okay, that's fantastic. And we're looking at Braille on the wherever there's literature. There's going to be Braille as well for people that are low vision or blind.
We do have a wayfinding program in place. I believe it does have Braille incorporated in it as well, but I can confirm that for you.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. It sounds great. Good job, and very, very exciting for Brantford.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Further questions, comments for Trevor? Yes.
Hi, it's Christina Walgrave from W. Ross McDonald School. I'm just wondering, Mark was asking the question about, park entranceways and things like that. So one thing that's been super helpful for our students is what they did at Dufferin Park is they placed armor stones on either side of the pathway. So, thinking about this time of year when pathways are covered in snow, they'll still be able to find those armor stones. Because, they're raised and they can use that to be able to distinguish, the park entrance from others. Just something to consider.
Noticing that's actually a good point, and I'm glad to hear that was appreciated at Dufferin Park too. I think that's something that we can look to incorporate at entrances to the park, particularly from the surrounding neighborhoods.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you for that. I do have a question for you, Trevor. We're going to have children's play areas in the park?
Correct, yes. Actually the biggest playground and splash pad in Brantford to date.
And will they be color coded? I know that some of the low vision children have a trouble with some colors.
Yes, actually, absolutely correct. In this instance, we do have the rubber surfacing underneath the playground itself, which does provide almost a secondary form of play. As you mentioned, it can be kind of quite interactive for visitors. And then the splash pad as well will have colored concrete under it as well.
Good, thank you, Trevor. Further questions, comments?
All right.
Yes.
Sorry, it's Christina again from W. Ross. Just, you know, with the colorful playground rubber surface that they had at the Dufferin Park. I know it was brought up by another committee member last time when we discussed it, just that they used the rubber surface, but it was teal, and then the bars to the playground structure was also teal. So there's places where they just all blend together. So just keeping in mind that if they are using colorful rubber surface, that the bars that they're using are better contrast.
Noted. I think that's another good consideration. Thank you, Christine. I think we do like to keep coordinated items and to kind of have a cohesive color palette, but having that contrast between ground plane and the play features, I think, is a valuable consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion or questions for Trevor? Yes, Mark.
Trevor, I wanted to, I mean, I'm totally blind, don't get me wrong, but I remember having sight. And what they've done at Mohawk Park there with the paths around it, the green base and most of the equipment, I believe, being purple, that contrast of green and purple would look really nice and very attractive, not only for low vision, but for children with autism and children with sensory and whatnot. So that's really accommodating for sure.
Thank you for the comment, Mark. I think it's a very valuable consideration. I am glad to hear that the Mohawk Park has been achieving that, at least so far.
Oh yeah, and the Braille. Oh, and they started that other sensory wall for sign language and Braille. Are they going to have that here too?
Yes, those accessibility panels that we like to incorporate in all our parks now, they'll be included in this park.
They are phenomenal. I love seeing the little kids studying that wall, and then they come to me and they see me signing with my deaf friends as we're sitting there, and I help them to design how to say, "Hi, how are you?" and "My name is," and then spelling out their names and stuff like that. I think that's brilliant.
I think that's absolutely wonderful to hear that they're having such a positive impact too. So yes, we will continue to include those. Thank you very much.
Is there any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? Seeing none, that is carried. Our next item is 4.4, the Arrowdale Community Park Development Update. Financial impact is none. It's number 2025-52. And I'll ask staff to come forward and provide an overview on this item, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I would like to present the Arrowdale project as well to the committee. So continuing with another exciting park development in Brantford, this time Arrowdale Park, situated on 17 acres of
Through the chair.
Sorry, Trevor, you're breaking up.
Sorry, guys. Can everyone hear me okay right now?
You've got a lot of static.
Is that any better?
That is.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Sorry, guys.
Start it again.
I'll start from the beginning here. Yes. So situated on 17.
The static started again, Trevor.
Oh no. Hoping this is better.
No, you're very staticky.
You've gone from FM to AM.
I do have another headset here. Let me try this one 1 second.
We have nothing for you now, Trevor.
Oh, great. Hello, can you hear me now?
I think it's feedback. We're getting static feedback, but we're not hearing you clearly.
I apologize. I might be having some technical difficulties here, but I'm trying to maintain my connection as best as possible. So I do apologize for any static that is coming through.
Sorry, through the chair. Trevor, would you mind unplugging the mic and perhaps trying to use the one from the computer? I wonder if it's if that would work as well.
I'm just wondering, can everybody hear me right now?
There's still a little bit
lot
of
of
noise. Yeah.
There's connection.
Are you able to sign out and sign back in?
Yes, I can attempt that. Thank you. Please bear with me for a moment.
Through the chair, if something we can do as well is while Trevor comes back online, in the meantime, we can actually go through the minutes. That way we can keep the meeting moving.
Yes, of
That's
course.
okay with the chair.
Okay, so let's skip to 5.1, minutes of the Brantford Accessibility Advisory Committee from November 14, 2024. Has everyone had a chance to go through the minutes? I'm gonna have a mover and a seconder then to approve the minutes. Yes, Mark. And Doug, thank you so much. Discussion, questions, corrections, errors, omissions, anything on the minutes? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor of accepting the minutes? Any opposed? Thank you, that's carried. And we have Trevor back.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Much better,
Clear.
thank you.
Great. I apologize for that bit of a hiccup there. Okay, let's move ahead with the Airedale Park. So, situated on 17 acres of rolling hills, the former Ward 4 golf course will maintain the current off-leash dog park and tobogganing attractions that are well used by the community. This park has frontage along Rawdon Street and Elgin Street, with a new parking lot to be implemented and providing access off of Rawdon Street. This was an originally conceptualized park back in 2021 with input from the surrounding community. City staff secured the services of a design consultant team, along with the services of a general contractor for the construction of Airedale Park. Construction began in November 2024 with earthworks and underground infrastructure expected to continue until spring 2025, at which time above ground amenities will be installed. The construction timeline for this park anticipates activities to be wrapped up by fall 2025. Airedale Park will include meandering trails throughout the native topography, which has been meticulously designed to provide accessible slopes with no section of the trail exceeding 5% in slope. There will also be provided rest stops with adjacent accessible spaces, and there will be provided at intervals along the trails. The looping trail system also ensures that all site amenities are accessible and barrier-free. Along Rawdon Street, there will be the entrance to the site as mentioned. This parking lot includes approximately 40 parking spaces with one type A and one type B parking space located with close proximity to the washroom facility. There is directly in front of that washroom facility area for emergency vehicle access, is why the accessible parking spaces are not located any closer. Curb cuts have been provided at all hardscape connections with tactile walking surface indicators provided at all junctions as well. The playground and splash pad features are still being designed with efforts to include accessible play features in both amenities. Touching on a subject which was, I think, discussed earlier in this meeting, a grant proposal is currently underway to secure additional funding to provide, again, that rubber surfacing material for the playground. Currently, we are utilizing an EWF material, but noting that if we have the opportunity to increase the budget via the grant proposal, we would be looking to include rubberized surfacing too. There's also a washroom building facility that includes 2 universal washrooms as well as mechanical rooms for housing splash pad controls and a small storage lockup. In total, the building is about 512 square feet, so quite small, but it also provides change room space for the adjacent splash pad. Some of the considerations that went into the design for the universal washrooms, with the help from Jenny Sawicki as well, I should mention, are including a comfortable unobstructed transfer space from the toilet, recessed accessories including toilet paper holder and waste receptacle, lock and operating push buttons separated to avoid confusion, and locations for the soap dispenser and other amenities within the washroom have been situated to ensure that they are reachable for all patrons. So yes, summary, we're looking at another magnificent park here for the city of Brantford. Maybe a few less features than the Southwest Community Park, but some high-level amenities and accessory features too. And at this time, I open up to any questions that the committee may have.
Okay, may I have a mover and a seconder to place the motion on the floor for discussion, please? Yes, Madison and Kelly. Questions for Trevor regarding Aerodale? Yes.
Through the chair to Trevor Whitehead. This is Umra speaking. I apologize if I missed this, but I was wondering, are the trails, like through the topography, are they going to be paved, like with asphalt, or is it going to be gravel?
Yes, thank you for the question. I apologize if I didn't mention it, but they will be asphalt paved trails with a smooth grade, minimal saw cuts as well.
Yes, Mark.
The chair, I just thought of something, Trevor. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on it or how much you know about it, but it would be something really cool to put for both parks. But now that we're talking with Aerodale, can you look into seeing if they can put eye beacons at different points in the park, maybe on post near the splash pad, and then maybe on the washrooms, and then it allows visually impaired blind people to locate these different traits. So if you're on the trails or on a path and you're not too sure which way you're facing, where the buildings is, we can use the Blind Square app to navigate around using the eye beacons. They've been very, very beneficial. They were in the development there. I was there when at the Sanderson Center, and I believe at the library they're set up there. Those eye beacons were really amazing. I don't know how they would work in the park or how that would work, but just putting it out there.
I apologize for my ignorance on this, but I'm currently not aware of these eye beacons, but it sounds very interesting to me and something that we can look into incorporating within these park developments.
Christine from W. Ross may know a little more about them since she's in the O&M department.
I'd be excited to hear more.
Excuse me. Yeah, we don't use Blind Square a lot with our students just because of the fee for that app. You know, but I know we had some of our O&M specialists that work collectively with the Sanderson Center and with some specific students there. And I think CNIB, I don't know if, is Sarah here? I know that VLRO, Loss Rehabilitation Ontario, I know I've done more projects and have more connections with that technology. But somebody would purchase an app and they could use it and it would give specific information that was put into the app for where they are. But yeah, it would be interesting if some type of technology would be included to be able to help, you know, folks to be able to navigate within the park. That would be really cool, actually.
Right.
So I think we'd have to do some homework and legwork and see kind of, you know, what the possibilities are.
Yeah, I think there is a bit that needs to go into this, but at a surface level, I'm very intrigued to see how that we can incorporate these.
Yeah.
I'll look into some information for you, Trevor, and I'll get a way to get it to you.
Thank you, Mark. I can share my email with you following this meeting as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Question, Jenny?
Yes, thank you. I know that we did look at some beaconing when we were just designing Dufferin, and there were some limitations to that. I know that there was some pretty extensive research done, Trevor, when Tracy was on your team. So you might want to link up with her and have a conversation. Blind Square itself, that specific brand, I believe, is more indoor use, but there could be something, and of course there's always something up and coming as well. So but I would start there.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jenny. No, that's great to hear. We might have already have some progress on this too.
Okay, any further questions or comments for Trevor on this project? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? And are there any opposed? Then that is carried. Moving on to number 5 on your agenda, there are consent items. We'll now move to the consent items. 5.1 is the minutes from the Brantford Accessibility Advisory Committee, which we've already taken care of. So moving on to number 6, resolutions. There are no resolutions. Number 7, there are no resolutions or notices of motion. And on to number 8, which is the adjournment of this meeting. And I think that does it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for attending and have a wonderful day.